Coming into the Starlight Path Communications, the Vega Communication Line Centers. It's in stigma, all position locations, high position line centers. This is understanding all levels of your gamma interference and how you program your centers to its location positions. All in-track system to its line conditions. So Vega Communications in its alliance and positions to the galactic forces, the GFLs, and everything, the rebellion. You have to truly understand how to use all division lines, okay, to attract system locations. Starlight maps, star position interference, star communication cycles. There's no stars in space. There's star systems. It's a little bit different when you go to the track line center. It's all about base camping to communication cycles. Once you go through all levels and the intent, the will, and everything, the force direction of timeline center in position to its creation, you come everything to its location. That's how you travel through the mind line center to its conditions. All right. So before I get started, yesterday I couldn't proceed line center doing a video because I was trying to find a Christmas tree. I went all day, couldn't find one. So we didn't do the next best thing. You know, the tree's in here. Just because you don't have a tree doesn't mean it's not Christmas. Even though it's not snow, even though you're in Mexico, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel, right? I mean, you can pretty much suit it up to any positions. You can create anything you want through imagination. So we put the way in the major, you know, the Joseph and all positions of Mary, and, you know, the lambs and the three wise men and all that stuff. You know, we put it on, you know, a level downstairs, and we put some lights and all that and make it look fancy. You know, Christmas is in here. It's not what's outside, it's in here. So that's where you have to put yourself in position locations. If you want anything through imagination, you just have to create it on its own, right? But that's the reason why I couldn't do a video, because I had to go it all day. All day, couldn't find a tree. It's not like it's last minute notice. It's not like 24 hours. Oh, I got to find a tree. Where am I going to find a tree, right? So basically, we make the best thing. You might find one, but who knows? But it is Mexico, so I mean, just because you don't have snow on the ground doesn't mean it's not Christmas. Christmas is not outside, it's in here. It's how you feel, right? It's all about familia. It's not about gifts, right? It's all about the love you have with yourself and with your families, right? That's what you're understanding. I came across a very powerful TikTok. I want to share this with you. It's very, it's compounded on so many level system, but to understand when you come into a person to that retrospective communication says in high level system, you guys have seen this. You are an analytical mathematical purity of the universe. You are a universal computer, not man-made. Now that's fascinating. A person that comes to me and tells me that says a lot of where that person is through travel. That's the understanding that we're all connected position locations. I know who I am through all universal line center, all planets, all programs, position line connection. So it's amazing how I came into this, and I thought it was very powerful. Because it isn't man-made. It's a computer. The centralized system to rotation positions everything through planet line conditions. I'm trying to dumb it down. It's like a book for dummies. You know how you have that with Taekwondo, foundations of Taekwondo and all that. Just basically where it's a yellow script, you know, the label, and it's a yellow book and it says book for dummies. So I try to dumb it down for everybody to make it easier, is that everybody's coming into the heart. That's all this is. It's understanding how to travel through the heart, to put the male and the female aspects of you. What do you think space-time is? It's nothing but balancing between you and the central line system of you through calculations. It high forces all levels of gravitation to its pole, puts you in activation core to its line conditions, right? I'm also in a central line different room to rotation. So I had set up. The thing is too, when you guys go in structure and you go in the mind line center, wherever you do it through meditation, do simulation graph or interference location, you can pretty much set up anything, right? So I got a new atmosphere line, because there's a lot of construction going on the other side where I usually am, right? Because you notice that there's nothing in the background, right? So I'm in a different area. So you try to make it best to your mobility and how to create inside. So every day I'm creating, but I'm creating a new atmosphere, creating new space, creating new time, creating a whole new clocking system, right? Today we're going to Vega Communications. We're going to go to the manufacturing plant because that's what Vega is. You guys are going to go into your digital wavings. You have to get into your analytical graph position location, your psychosis. The high line center is everything through all positions. The grounds positions, okay? The atmosphere line centers, the metro line centers, and everything through your atoms in communications, right? Because you guys have your tests and review and everything through T-force line rotation positions in the new year truck system, January 21st. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you exactly what's happening with all positions of humanity. Humanity is going to go into a whirlspin cycle in communication. So it's like, remember I was telling you about how you go into a washer and dryer in one central line center? Well, everybody's going to be pulled down through sequence. You guys have to truly understand what's going on with the sun operations and the communication of the moon. That's a true understand the track system, flux capacitor interference. In position, the clocking system, okay, is going to go around and around extremely fast. So it's a test run. It's trying to test humanity where they are through species line. In communication to all level systems, 3-track interference on position locations, 12 the rotation centers to position locations, computer operation to its line connections. Do you understand how powerful it is when you come into a high rotation? That's a true understand when you get into proactive systems to its calculations, right? So it's all based on communications. When I come into questions like this is amazing that it is not man-made. And that's coming from somebody that understands my position. You guys understand my position. This is out for the new viewers that are trying to say who I am. Well, I know who I am. It's not man-made. It's next to impossible to be man-made. So it's got to come from where? All planet system. Okay. Now you got a universal track, unit 5-dimensional line center. Now everybody's coming to heart reactor line rotation position. So what's in calculation modifications with humanity species is that they're going to be grounded in rotations. So it's going to feel like you're on a foundation of feet line center. Now feet line center is feet here, feet here, feet here, feet here, feet here, feet here. So you're going to go all in line center, all positions, trying to find your clocking rotation. The ground has to find you through formations. The sun has to find you through radiation. And the moon has to find you through program to its modem line center. So everybody's going to come into audio interference, into the right track and the left track interference line connection, all in position of you to the heart reactor, how to travel through the alpha waves. Okay, and that's what humanity's coming into, alpha wave communication. All right, so let's get started. I'm excited. All right, let's get into your questions first. Hope everybody's doing well. Dina, how's it going? Christopher, I can take my ear chops out. Okay, because I'm in a different atmosphere line. All right, I love it when it's quiet, you know, you can connect better. Christopher, Janet, Tina, I will be going on TikTok and I will also be holding that special 2-for-1. Okay, because I know people are basically want to know what's happening with them. They can get a special deal. They can still, that's that. I'm going to hold that until the new year. Okay, 2-for-1 special at the Floor Blue. All right. All right, Arlene, how's it going? Karen, how's it going? All right, so let's see. Arlene, yeah, great communicating. Sounds like you created an extremely heart-centered festival for this platform. Yeah. Well, it's all about understanding that it's already created and that you guys are getting not just smarter, but understand why you're getting smarter. It's known information given to you through Solar Track Line Center. So in position, you guys will come into all level positions that have not man-made. You come into your own universal computer to its connections, especially when you communicate to your line and anything through rotation system. But it's got to be in chronological order. Every time you speak, try to ask yourself, did that make any sense? No, it didn't, because I didn't get any communication back. So if you're not getting communication back, what are you doing wrong? Right? Either you're thinking too much, not thinking enough, not thinking at all, which you shouldn't be. Coming into the known information of solar direction positions to all levels through its condition. Meditation is a way of seeing yourself moving forward with energy, vibration, and frequencies. Okay, it comes into more of levels of harmonic resistance. So when we go to Vega, you get a truly understanding the manufacturing plant that's in its vector core to its quadrant system locations, because we have so many quadrant levels of planet line centers, right? Vega is in communication, right, to your centers. I got the code line center to rotation position, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've been to Vega once, but this time we're going to get more into your digital graphs. We're going to come into more sonar. You're going to come more into radiation. You're going to come more into radioactive system. How to use a calculation modified line center to think through gamma interference. And what's solar interference? What's solar gamma interference? You have to truly understand all this is position in ether track system. Okay. And you notice that even though I missed a day, look how advanced I am through line center. Like I said, it's not man-made, is it? You know it's not man-made because it doesn't sound man-made, but it's all in chronological order, right? So it's incredible what you can do just with 24 hours of missing sequence to interference. But again, trying to find that tree. It's a countdown because Friday's Christmas. So anyway, just want to bring that with you. Josh, how's it going? Yeah, the washer and dryer. But thing is, your feet are going to be grounded in aligned center rotation, which means it's going to be all over the place. Right? So you're going to go like this, you're going to go like this, like this, like this, like this. So this is what's going to happen to everybody. Okay? Because it's got to get the grounds with you. It's got to get the radiation interference. It's got to get the proactive system to calculations. So you're going to get new audio track interference position to its modem of its moon beam line center rotation position. December 21st, digital code line center, new space anomaly track interference, all position to locations, right? So in the new year, everybody will be into 30% of my line center conscious level system, right? So you'll be into the full rotation of its A-track interference. A-track interference is positions putting you into the hemisphere location. No more in the atmosphere. You'll be in the hemisphere. So that's what's going to happen, right? The mind line center and rotation position has to reach its oxygen levels as space anomaly. It's got a tracked system. Okay, the program setting to all levels of the system of the sun. Calculation modification pixel activation center to all simulation graph line conditions. And everything to the moon is coming to new audio interference. That's something to look forward to. All right. All right, here, special deal. Yep. Yeah, you're welcome there, Jenna, but I'm going to hold that till the new year, okay? All right. So Josh, you have any other questions? If you want to be uprise to Highline Center, let me know. If you guys are feeling off or tweaking this or tweaking that, it's all about understanding to balance all positions to center rotation positions. So the ground line center, so it's going to be a crosswind cycle. It's going to be like this, right? And your feet are going to be off position. So it's going to feel like you're going this way, going this way, going this way, going that way, going this way, going this way. So that's what it is. It's a star system. Okay, star system, not stars, star system. Okay, rotation to position conditions. So the grounds is going to try to find you through clock. Okay, the sun's going to try to find you through radiation. Gamma interference or anything right after line conditions. Where are you in positions? Because we all have to get into the alpha wave. Okay, alpha, omega, micro, macro, and omega. Center line condition operations, position locations. All right, so we have to start with that because that's what's going into 0.1. Portal activation line center 1111.01. Track system to telepathy communication of 5 division line center. Now, people don't understand the fifth dimension. People say, hey, you're not in the fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is just another way of saying that you're going up to a higher level of the mind, a conscious system. The calculation to position line center is all positions of you. 7 within track system, the body and its water interference, and everything through the 5 of the atmosphere location, right? It's the conscious levels it reads, guys, the mind line rotation. Okay, so you're just reaching higher levels of consciousness. So everybody in the New Year track will be in the super of its consciousness, which is very powerful, right? Because the mind, the body, and the soul has to come into one. Okay. The more it comes into track center, the more it comes in position locations, the more we get humanity into the fire grid location, everything's information, right? So, all right, Veronica, how you doing? I had a last night going through fear and I saw spaceships predicting me. Yep, you're seeing that through track center, so that's good. Through locations that aren't set to position. Driving to Vega, yep. Driving to Vega, yeah. Yeah, I'll just get into my 1969 Corvette or 1969 Mustang. Bucket seats, leather. All right. Yeah, and the thing is too, it is great. It's fantastic because remember, we have to get out of the atmospheres because the atmospheres put you in the highline center of 3-dimensional position, but you guys are in a 5th-dimensional system. So when I say 5th dimension, all I mean is that it's a higher level of conscious mind. That's it. And it's on different code position line conditions, right? Graphing is connection to all levels of mutation. Curious in how you get into calculations to the right wave and patterns. Okay. So all right, receiving internet I 369 portal translucent awareness, mindfulness integration. I'm quantum galactic capable as one golden ratio. Yeah, and you're coming more into that formation there, Lotus, and you'll find that from overtime line center. So that's great. 0 point, yeah, and that's what it is. It's getting everybody into 0 point, okay? Identification line position. So it's all about getting into humanity of a zero track rotation and positions to all collaboration centers, to telepathy communication to one. So it's kind of like getting the same telephone, but different high levels. It's because not everybody is going to be in the same atmosphere line center, but everybody's going to be in the track system of the hemisphere, because you're all going to have different phones. Nobody's going to have the same phone. The technology is going to be high rise more than others. So that's what makes this unique. Our ground perception has to come into that division of conscious level system, guys. So that's going to put you in the super consciousness, right? So you no longer be in the conscious or the subterranean. You'll be in the super consciousness line center, which is fantastic. All right, so that 30% is going to put you in track rotations, 25 years segments. In communication to its force line center in position locations, humanity is coming into that track system of solar generation light. Calculation modified to its line rotation is positioned to your tracker system. All 3 pixel activation lines center. The more you get into and out of the matrix of yourself, the more you can get into space anomaly. Okay? So, receiving overlay, new perception, creation, new Earth. Yeah, you come into that more, Lotus, and come into integration to your spiritual system. So, all right, can I pay? Yep. You can go to my PayPal, or you can go through live 2 for 1 if you want there, Josh. If it's just you, it's just Garland. I usually do that when I go on TikTok afterwards, right? After I do my video. Or you can go through my PayPal through drew007.aw@gmail.com. I always put my email, I always put my PayPal. So, but the special is going to hold into the new year. Okay. So, but just truly understand what's happening with your bodies is the most important thing. When you're waking up, you say, okay, well, how come I'm feeling like this? Well, because you got to get balanced with the sun of clocking and the moon of clocking. That's it. And you are the flux capacitor. So you have to understand everything through V-line center to achieve position locations. These are your wings. This is your flux capacitor, right? These are your wings. You know, you gotta put yourself on high level system, how to calculate your modified line center, how to fly, right? So it's amazing how you track consistent locations all with finger point location line centers. It's incredible how you can do this all Vega communication. So, all right. So we can get to that position locations afterwards. All right, so I got it all set up. Now we're going to go through calculations. We're going to go to the center op. A center op position to Vega communications. It's going to be in the center line center. You guys got 30 minutes, okay, to have fun. All right, it's all set up for rotation, codes in position. Okay, so once you see this, you're going to travel right through the center rotation by conditions. So what it's going to do, it's going to do a circle op. That circle op is going to put you into high level rotation. So your body is an activation code. It's an activation center, and it's going to open up all your flux capacitor interference channels into audio interference line connections. So you always have to go through the sun every single day because it's the portal, right? We know that because the TX thousands in opposition comes out of track line center. So it's all about information from you, from the sun, coming from the sun to the moon. The moon is a program setting to communications of the intent, the will, the track system to its creation, to its location. You have to understand your GPS track systems. It's like a pearly map. And back in the 80s, where you're looking at the map, it's like, oh, I'm going from here to here. How long is it going to take for me to go from here to here? Well, you draw a circle, right? That is your seismograph, communication interference. So you know exactly where to go. You don't off center here, you don't off center here, you don't off center here or here. It's the geographical map of you, and that's all it is, the space line center. Once you get in that position, you can start creating everything inside location. It's really powerful when you come in that position. All right, so we're going to calculations, everything the galactic forces, the GFLs, and position rebellion. Calculate modified line center. Put them in their center rotation interference. Rendezvous communications, here we go. So we're going to go into all level rotation, the ground line center, center rotation, and everything through the atmosphere line connections of Vega communication center line connection. All right, so we're in rotation center line connections. All position, it kind of looks like a game because that's what it is. So we're going to go to the manufacturing plant on the other side rotations of Vega. Vega is in a strip line interference connected all level position to connections of Pluto in communications. So it's all about understanding track line center to connections. In position rotations, here we go through track system, 1, 2, 3. Coming in communication, vector line, center rotation, flux capacitor interference. 30 minutes, have fun. Hoo-ah. All right, so that's how it goes through connections. Let me know what happens. You guys are in Vega. Vega, Vega, Vega. But it's pretty cool when you see things like this. Because it looks like, hey, where's Pac-Man? Then you have the ghost. So, or Miss Pac-Man for that matter. So, Provocursor, long runway, machines being scanned again. Yep, you always have to be scanned. You know that energy wash. Can't have any bacterial interference because you guys are in a different atmosphere timeline center, right? Vega knows that. You should know that, right? You should know exactly what goes on. And it's a perfect example. When you guys are sleeping, you know you're prepared. What's going to happen next when you're sleeping? If you're going to sleep, you're not aware, that's a problem. You're going to lose miscommunications. Interline interference position, you'll be in a lot of interference line connection. You don't want to be in interference position line connections when you're sleeping. You want to be prepared of what happens. So it's kind of like going to a meeting, to a meeting, to a meeting. So you go from one planet to another planet to another planet. And that's what I do every day, every single day, right? So making sure everything is good, you know, making sure everything is set, making sure everything is fixed. Right, so I'm not just opposition of a space healer or anything you want through rotation or a space doctor. It's opposition to a space technician. How to fix all these things through planet locations, all done through digital code centers, right? So blue is everywhere. Same to Lotus. Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Orange. All I see is red shoes and the grid lines. Very good, Commander. That's connected to the beacon lights. Very good, excellent. Detail through rotation and excellent. Time to mend the atom. We are in the horizon dots now. Yeah. So many particles spinning and rising. Yeah. So it's amazing how you come in position locations at Vega. Vega is in so many line centers. So it's all about going through one hallway to another hallway to another hallway to understand each hallway is position of view, to remember its sole direction to its conditions, right? It's amazing how you follow up, right? It's kind of like Tron, right? So wild stuff. Yep, lots of particles to be put together to make the atom spin. Very good. Yeah. Good way to start off on a Monday, eh? Go to Vega. So yeah, that laser is basically giving you a direction position. So it's like a navigation signal. It's a rotation connections to stigma, all right? Stigma to the line interferences are all programs to you, to rotations. Okay, it's all position me through the arm line. Coming in rotation interference. And the same thing is too, is that you can be anything through form once you understand all levels of immortality. It's incredible force how it rotates its connections to its ion line center, right? So this is me through track system location. This is me right now. See, that's me. Right. So I can be anything through particle, anything through light, anything through track, anything through computer, Anything through space, anything through time. That's immortality, people. Be able to shift at any level, any light, any travel, any mechanism of timeline center. So it's amazing how it comes into locations, right? So once you get into that line center, you get all levels of you, of solar memory. So coming into that track system, all positions of sigma is signs, intelligence, gamma atoms. The signs of you through track systems, the intelligence of you through correlation, and everything through your data processing is positions to you to understand the atoms and how to place it all together. The synchronicity and interference is line connections set it up new shapes because Vega is in manufacturing, okay, to high levels of XT1000 line connections. They're all created through Vega connection, right? But it has digital coding line centers in all positions, right? The factoring interference, the rotation spins, cycle interference, the psychosis of you through calculation. It's all position you through track system, right? So it's all about identifying these things, you know, making all pipes connect, outer shells complete. I see you on a surfboard. Arrive 369 galactic sun, portal moon. I'm in a mirror. Introspection, the holographic moment of 0 point, all chakras. Spinning green one is, yeah. Terminator is riding the wave. Got an ember. Bring in the blue. Looping, yeah. That's good. So the basic understanding is to really put yourself in how to connect to planets and not just see the planets, but understand how to communicate with the planets, right? So, yeah, so many new codes, yeah. Track interference there, Commander. You had 4-digit line centers of 8, 4-digit line center rotation. Now you have 3, all right? You have 3 8s on one line center, the left, and 3 8s on the right. What does that mean through track? Remember, everything comes in sequence. If there's a point dot, that's a center line center left and right track system. If it was all together, okay, it comes into communication line rotation to a full cycle of a clocking center, okay? But if there's a dot there, okay, that means it's vortex to another planet interference. In program setting, you can have so many digital code numbers in rotation. It gets complicated once you go higher rise to a planet. You guys are coming into higher levels now, right? So you have to learn how to communicate with your digital linings, right? So we go into this position, calculation modification line center, 888, okay, dot 8888. Okay, start off with that, right? So to understand this position and it's turning this position locations, right? So in calculation, 2468, right? All positions to prime numbers. Okay. So it comes into another planet line center equals, okay, slash. This is all come into outer limit positions, okay? Outer limits. This is understanding high rise line center. Okay? You come into outer limits to another planet in rotation, which is calculated to its prime number sequence, right? Planet, okay, outer limits to another planet rotation, all through a point center. Now, if there's no point center there, it's all together through circle, right? Which means it's fast tracking its clocking interference. So it's high force in its line center. It's complicated, but it's a lot of fun. So the clocking center goes really, really fast. Okay. Especially when you're at foundation rotations. It's amazing they come into those line center, guys. All right, so you get 12 sequence. Let's say you go to 12. And then let's say you go to, all right, so basically it's 1 o'clock, right? And you are here going around line center, okay? So what happens is the clock line center changes locations and it goes faster and faster and faster and faster. So if it's going faster and faster and faster and faster, you're in a complete cycle through the line connection, which means you're an 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8 in rotation. Okay? But as soon as there's a point there, it changes the clocking center to another planet location of time. See the point? So if it's 888, it's bracket interference, right? Code signals, right? There's the area code, 888. There's the number. Hoo-ah. See how it changed the frame? So you got to understand that. You got to understand that. If it's 3, it's bracket. If it's point in center, Vega will give you the communication to its point system. But if it's 888, 8 point, that's track line center of left and right. All right, so it's even on line center. So if you get position of 7631.01, this gets a little bit more complicated now, right? Because the point's here, it's not in here, so it's not bracket, is it? So it's not an area code of another planet, is it? Until if it's 3 and then a point, then you see it's a bracket. Then you know the area code line center positions to its planet interference. But if it's a point here, it changes the whole sequence to its code system all through Vega. Okay? So it's interesting how you guys go into higher level rotation to its connections. You just have to understand all positions of where that point center is. Okay? All right, let's see where we are here. All right. Looping the 8th, looping the 8th. As long as you understand what the 8 is, it's telecommunication to you, right? It's a central line center of you. Okay, it's the rotation spin, right? So what is this? What is this? This is the universe you guys are in. This is what you're doing every single day. Isn't it amazing? Because when you go forward, you have to come back to the heart center, right? Because the center sends it all positions. So it's all track system alpha waves, the mega, micro, macro, in position location, all level system. The alpha waves, the delta, the theta, the beta, and the omega, right? So all codes coming into formation, yeah. Remember, if you've seen anything through 9, you know it's a new cycle, right? We've gone through that before. The central line position locations. If it's a 9, comes into pi, guys. Okay. See? 9 comes into pi. So that comes into new cycle, right? Changes rotation line interference. Okay. It separates positions that come into light and dark to its rotation. So it comes into new cycle. Okay. True operation to position line connections to the ground line center, everything through the power direction of timeline center, everything through the atmosphere rotation to positions. Remember, the track system, your magnetic line center, and your highway information changes digital code centers every second per second. Remember, I was telling you about your thoughts, how you go from all levels of position. You go from one letter to one word, to one sentence, to one story, to one frame. Okay, so be cautious in what you create through your letters and words because it's traveling second per second. All depends on you through track line center. The faster you go, the more you come into light and dark. Balance rotation to position locations, right? So it's the streamline center of you through allocating line center comes into rotation to its position. That's 69. Okay. So that's the balance line center. You have to come into flux capacitor interference. It's getting your program setting back in balance in the male and the female aspects of position location, digital frame positions of codes. But it's interesting how you can position. So if you're coming into calculation modification line center, are you guys confused? I want to make sure you guys are okay because we're coming into extremely high planets. I'm seeing the rays of sun coming into formation of code upgrades yet. Is it balanced? Yeah. It's you balancing you, Janet, to your computers, all to your physical line of grounds, through your perception of the mind, what you're doing through imagining of the thought, through creation oppositions to your clocking system. Balance, clear to line, divinity, transportation through coming, orange, solar plex, silver, standing view, communication. Okay, so I need to move the, yeah. As long as you understand what you're doing, that's the main thing, right? You're seeing these things, but you understand, okay, I'm here, what do I do? What does Jenner want me to do? It's not what I want you to do. It's your developments on what you need to see yourself doing, okay? All right. All right, so commanders and positions to move in the 8-track line center into 4, 3 to 4. That's good. Let's see, 5 orange sticking its claws to the bubble of a new knowing, new law of nature is coming in. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm so confused. Confusion is good. I keep saying that. At least you know, at least you're on your tippy toes, right? So you have any other questions there, Heidi, let me know. So you're saying, what am I confused about? You're confused through your clocking center. You're confused through your activation system. You're confused through your activation core line center. A core line center is receptacle line center of you through travel 3, 6, and 9. How to use the 3, how to use the 6, and how to use the 9. But as soon as you change your thoughts, it's like going like this. And all of a sudden, if you go to negative lines of rotations, you're going back in cycle. So if you go past 9, what's happening? It's creating its back force and it's creating its own clock center, which is going to do what? Change positions of the sun and its moon program. Okay? So that should help you out, Heidi. Show me how to get a hold of the planets. New emotional communications, light show, synchronous feeling within one thing. Inverted, reverb, yeah, new program setting codes. Sewing up the dots, seeing the sign. See, the thing is, too, when you guys travel faster in the mind, the digital code goes faster. All right, so you have to go. So it's changing every second per second per second per second what you're creating through your all letters of letters, words, sentences, story, and frame. Boom. Simultaneously. Bang. Right? Right? So doing the same thing every single day, every single day, every single day. But your digital codes are changing second per second, depending on how long it takes you to create your thoughts. The thing is, too, even if you don't think you're creating thoughts, you are. And if you're not aware of these things, out they go. Right? So. The classes travel to Vega to play left of the Earth. All dots are alignments. Yep. Pure transformation, manifestation, transmission resonates beautiful. There's a rainbow, walking. Oxy, yeah. Huge golden chevrons. Tippy toes. Golden new. You have new ballerina shoes. Chris will activate his notes, his song, and sing. So much. That's good. I see you guys are connecting. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. Go to my TikTok. I can help you out. All right. So it's important to understand just the clock of you, right? So let's go in position. Let's go into the basics. Basics. Basics physics 101. Okay. So circle equals circle. Okay. Now, you understand how to use the circle through energy equals MC, okay, square. That's a basic understanding how to use that through calculations, right? How to use this all in form through energy, how to use it through its equal, how to use it through mass, how to use it through calculations, and square is reference to you through calculation. So, circle rotations of the physical line. Okay, clocking system, 60 seconds, okay, per minute. Right, that's what you guys live on, right? Now, this is the calculation modification inside you. Don't worry about this. This is not math. This is not math. This is travel. Okay, the reason why you think it's math, okay, because you can't understand your psychological interference to its map equations. Map equation is nothing but you through travel. See, it's all about traveling through your thoughts and how to get what you want through manifestation or creation. So you guys are traveling 60 seconds per minute in a clocking system of 12 equals 12. Physical equals 12. Now you come into the dimension line center. It's a little bit more tricky now, right? A lot more trickier. But it's a clocking system, but it high rises position locations, right? So the clocking system goes faster. So even though you're in the physical line center, once you get out of the physical trap and you come into all levels of dimensional light, you travel more in position, especially when you go into zero gravity. Now you're going through a higher level of clocking system, all positions to what you create through all levels of letters, numbers, and shapes. It's the geometry set of U through calculations through your GODs, right? Clocking system to locations, right? So it's dimension, okay, equals 12. Dimensional setting to you through light, right? So once you understand your physical system, a clocking system, that you go 60 seconds per minute, all you have to do is understand dimensional to its position. This is how we travel through light. And it's important you go to my schools to get a better understanding that you are the calculation inside of travel, not math through its equation. So don't get confused. So E equals mc squared. Okay? So there you go. It's all about traveling to get what you want. All right, this is crazy. This is time traveling. I'm seeing through my mind, but randomly around my me starts to look warped, like I'm physically concerned, like being surrounded by what I'm seeing in our travel. That's exactly what it is. Each new combination sends out a new code line center to the current avatar's ground location. Very good. See? Commander understands that through her position, not anybody else's, because everybody else is in a different clock. But what is this saying? That doesn't change. What doesn't change? The physical clock. You understand? That's you. So it's the grounding position of the physical clock and the grounding positions of its dimensional clock. Two different variations of time, guys. Two different timelines. But you're aligned through each other through teleportation of communication, telekinesis. So it's pretty powerful, isn't it? So that in position, this will be on the test. All right. Test B factor, T-force line center. This will be on the test. Okay. All right. I don't want you guys to get confused on too many levels. All you have to understand is that you're in a physical line. You understand that. But the more you put yourself in positions that you really are connected to all levels of you through travel, through dimensional light, and then you realize you get the grounds with the physical system. That doesn't lead. That's the base. That is the grounds. That is you through calculations. You're in the physical, right? But once you go to higher rise line center, you're no longer in the physical. You're dimensional light, right? So this is where you get the balance with the past, the present, and the future into one center locations, and you come into one clock system. Right? No more imposition of physical line of its clock, because you're just one clock through space-time. That's the balance. Right? It's fascinating, isn't it, when you get in that position? All right, so it's great to see you guys getting along really well. All right. Celia, how you doing? Any questions or comments, you can go through my email down below on YouTube. I'm a rainbow, all numbers, all coordinates, all combination of all numbers and planets illuminated with rainbow. Yeah. Sparkling with speed of light and even faster of the nothing to everything. So what is the one thing you have to balance out? What's the one thing you have to balance out? What do you have to balance out? The physical, not the dimensional. Dimensional is not going to set in until you understand the physical of its clock system, how to travel through it, which is the grounds, the power, and the atmospheres, right? Now, this is not a dimensional setting. Once you get into the physical, the dimensional comes to you through calculation, and then you communicate with each other to one signal, to one clocking system, to one space, a one timeline center. It's wild. So it's integration of one, guys. Fluctuation, interference, position, the mutation line connections, all position of you through travel, right? All done through codes. Spinal factor, sun, sacred geometry, ascension by key codings. It's son of all life, compassion, communication. So Lotus, you're coming into information line center. Okay, so you have to, when you're seeing these things, try to get into more of your program because you're just getting something that's handed to you. So you have to blend into it and become your own dimensional being, right? So right now you're in just position, oh, I'm just getting the information. That's great. That's fantastic. But once you get into more, the information just comes into solar memory, right? So it's kind of like reading from a book, but it's from you, right? So you're reading your own book of information. So you're reading pages. But I have to realize you're not pages. You're not in any relation to a page. You're all relation of memory, okay? And that memory is like, memorization. When you come into scripts or memorizing cold reads, 2 or 3 pages. Oh, wow, I memorized it. Great. So that's what actors have to do. They have to be off page. If they're not on page, they're reading the script. And directors prefer you being off page, right? So that's the true understanding when you come in positions. You don't want to get confused with your story frames because the clocking center of solar direction line center could be off position, right? So you have to know exactly what's given to you every single day when you wake up through high line center, all through clocking system, okay? So, Banshee, how you doing? Just backtracking here, making sure everybody is good. So that's why it's important to pay attention because you never know what's going to happen, right? With the T-force. Yeah, it is. You're seeing everything inside, the eyes open. Incredible. Yeah. And you actually see the clock and you see it going through digital frame. You see it changing line connections. That's what I do when I activate people. They're clocking systems all over the place. So, and that's a true understanding why they're all messed up because they can't move forward, right? Because the clocking system's off track, right? Or it's damaged. So I have to fix that through computer line. So this is a normal clock to rotation, calculation modified, right? No bounce of the physical system or dimensional line center. This is a normal clock, right? Just showing you exactly how it works. And again, clocking system is extremely important to Vega, guys. All right, so that's a normal clock, right? Now, equal to its position line center. Let's say that person's off track to another clocking system. So the 12 is here, okay? And 4 is here, and 6 is here. See how it gets confused? You see how it gets confused? And this is only confused through the negative cycles. Right? So every time you go through negative cycle, you're changing your clock, your physical line center. Don't worry about the dimensional line position. It's all position you're putting your back line center. Why do you think it's trying to wake you up through clocking? So you go in that position, 8's over here, right? 9's over here. Look what's happened. Total mess up, right? So it's all about repositioning back in line center, right? Repositioning. Okay? Repositioning. Okay? That's all it is, right? So once the clock's set up to rotation, comes into calculation, comes into the ground line center of its clock system. Ground has a clocking system. Yes. Starts here, right? All position U, so 12 stands up top, right? So it's interesting, it comes in that line center, right? It's incredible force when you travel faster. I'll tell you, you see a lot more through clock lines and rotations and everything digital line at center. All right, clocking center of the grounds. So this is in rotation, circles rotation line center to you through calculations. What do you think the ground was? What do you think the powers are? What do you think the atmosphere is? Nothing but clock. All right, so once you get in that rotation, you come into all levels of your flux capacitor line channel locations, all right? I'll position you to all levels of the seat of the soul dimensional line center. In position location, it's all activated to the ground rotation. The clocking center is in rotation position. Back in calculations. Here is the fork of information system. Past, present, future. What do you have to do? Stay in the present of the clocking system of the grounds. Hoo-ah. See the intelligence? There you go. So, all right, take out Sherry track interference, high position locations, reverse the cycle line centers from Vega communications system. Take her out of position. There you go. Sherry's out. All right, but it's fascinating when you look at this with the grounds and you can see the intelligence, which is you. See the hands, see the dials, see the clocking system, see the flux capacitor, right? Try to understand that. You get the grounds with you every day through clock center. So this is a clock, and this is a clock. 3 clock centers, powers, all positions to ground power in the atmosphere. You need 3 clock centers, guys. Bet you didn't know that, did you? This is also on the test. All right. All right. This is a lot of fun. So, you know what to do. Yeah, this is individual, each of us. Yeah, it's all an individual thing. That's just all division of you. You can guys communicate with each other. Just don't fall off track of communication locking interference or anything clock center. It's all position of you. Okay. As soon as you go off and communicate with something else, you use your fast track interference and you lose your Vega communication. And then I got to put you back online. So this is a healing journey for individual. Not together, individual, but you're all connected as a team. So, all right, we wrote the books. We are learning to remember. Yeah, okay, so Sherry's out. Beta, alpha, equalizing the end, the beginning, speed of clocking. Brilliant, intelligent. Thank you, Janet. Makes much sense to me all of a sudden. There you go. So Janet understands more. It's just the clocking of you through the grounds, the power in the atmosphere. So you need 3 clocks to stay in your positions. First in your physical system, and then you can get in communications of your dimensional sightings. Clocking in the rainbow activation, all possibilities, all colors, all tones, and balance. Yeah. But think about it, you need a clock. If you don't have a clock, how are you supposed to travel? How are you supposed to travel if you don't have a clock? You have a watch, tells time. You have clocks. There's a clock on your phone, right? But it's interesting why it's on that line center. Everything has a left and right track line rotations, right? So in positions, I have an Android. So time is on the left, charging is on the right. Right? Where are you? Center rotation. All calculations modified line center. That's it. So you just have to clock your system. So if your ground systems are off through negative cycles, everything is off through rotation positions of the mind. So if you have fallouts with the grounds, you have to fix it on line connections. That's why everybody gets confused with their computers and their alignment switches. So you can switch line interference. So you can go fluctuation interference, and if you go through positive system, but then you go back to the negative line center, now you're upset, you got a phone call, it's going to go, it's trying to move forward, but it can't, right? Because the ground system's off. Check your power connectors, right? Your placebos might be off signal, right? This is where you come into all levels of sigma, okay, into your position of your intelligence. All connections are photons, protons, electrons, and neutrons. What do you think they are? They're all particle system of you. Calculation, all identification to its clocking system. All connections to all levels of your cells, which are all computers, right? It's the center operation of you through clocking system of the grounds, the power, the atmospheres, guys. That's it. The physical line has to get its positions before it gets into calculations to its digital setting, to its dimension of its light. Okay, once you come into full dimensional light of a being, everything starts working through its clocking. Then you can really go fast. Acceleration, Mach center, location, zero trap rotation line system, zigzag, zip, zap through, you know? So, all right, clocking and activation of possible colors of tones and balance. Yeah, truly amazing. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome there, Lotus. Janet's great. She understands that. I see all clocks in green. They're all balanced in the moment. Ooh, cool. I finally see all my clocks at the same time. So that's good. So if Commander is seeing all the clocks in the same time, that means she has to understand what color is in rotation. So if the clock center, this is where it comes into your chakras, guys. So the ground line center is brown. Now, if the ground line center is red, what's happened? Misconception and interference to all levels of balance security. So the ground system is off. So it's setting up a beacon light to the ground rotations, right? Interline positions anything that line system rotation to its connection is true to your chakra systems. 3 waving system locations. All right. The grounds, the balance security of the ground locations. Okay. Everything, the activity center, seismograph interference or rotation positions, how you clocking your system on your energy fields to its connections. Okay. That's the most important thing. So if the clocking system, the ground isn't brown through coloration of light and it's red or it's green or it's blue, that means the ground is caught in its water interference. Interesting, across the system, all through clocking interference locations. The ground locations, everything through all levels of the fire and everything through air and everything through water has to be in sequence of one clock system, one coloration, one light, one clock system. The intent, the will, the creation, the location. Okay? So, all right, what happens if you spin up clocks multidimensionally? Well, if you spin too fast to the line center, you change your clocking interference, you programs, and you reset your position to your flux capacitor line channels. Now it gets more confusing because now you're coming into your TV reception lines. So it's kind of like, this is what it is. Let's say you have too many websites up on your computer. What happens? It slows down your computer, right? So let's say you got 10 line centers of websites. So you have to close them. Now it's refreshed, right? Your computer will slow down through clocking center. Your computer will basically put your position in fluctuation and interference and flush out everything through its positions. But if you're tracking too fast, what's happening? You're going ahead of the speed clock center. So if you're going ahead through the clocking center rotations, you're going to confuse the anomaly of its ground system. Circulation to its rotation to its position, all right, to its all levels of the chakra center. Okay. Now I'm going to do it all in one, but I'll just show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 basic, right? That's the 7 grounds of you through locations, right? 7 grounds, 7 grounds, okay? 7 grounds of you. Now, that's a Trinity stand. The clocking system is position of brown, right? It's not red, it's brown. So if the clocking system's off the calculations and you're going to balance security is you through all levels of defense. Your security line center positions. You're not protecting your light. The clocking system of calculations will go red through 4 line center, right? So the 4 is red. So you got to change that back into what? Brown, right? Coloration to position of clocking center. Once that goes in position, you do a check again to rotations, and you make sure every clocking system is brown through rotation. Okay? I know you guys are blown away. So you change it to brown, right? So all coloration of clocking center has to be in balance rotation before you travel. It's got to be all in brown. It's got to be all in red. It's got to be all in yellow. It's got to be all in orange, right? These are your chakras. They have a clocking system of dimensional time. We're coming into higher formation now to all communications of Vega. Vega and coloration of light. You guys have to learn how to use your all levels of your 3, 6, and 9 platforms, how to travel through all that position through clocking center. So this is what it comes into to rotations. You have a clocking center in position. right? So once you go to higher levels, you understand how to use a calculation to coloration line centers or everything through compass, right? So it's a clocking system of U through trial direction of time. Takes things out of the equation, right? Everything's got to be balanced through coordinates and high rotation connections, all through clocking system, all through the grounds, all through the powers, and all through your atmosphere rotation. Coming in positions, you come into your tunnel and interference. Isn't it amazing how you create these things anomaly? So the clocking system on the ground is good. Check that. Power connector, check that. Everything the atmospheres, check that. That's a three-weighted system location of clocking centers. Grounds, power, and the atmosphere locations, right? Once that checked off, then you go to your calculation modifications to your chakras. Understand the colorations through its connections. You went through coloration line centers, right? Coloration. Okay. All positions of 7. Okay. Those are the basic, right? And then the atmosphere line comes up to higher level, 3, 4, 5. Now it's 5 levels of conscious level system. But the basic understanding is understanding the clocking system of 7 through rotation. Okay, it gets confusing, but as you're understanding, everything that was clock system is ground power, the atmospheres, and that every chakra is its own clocking system. But to travel, the clocking system has to be in balance of each coloration. Interesting you come to that position, right? So clocking system, you can have green on 12, you can have red on 2, you can have black on 3. You got to put this back in order, right? So it's interesting how going the coloration of lights and why is it so important to understand the geometry of U through calculations, everything through your GODs. It helps you in all ways and forms through travel, right? So that's something to look forward to, right? This is also on the test. Okay. Everybody's sweating. No test. I'll keep that information, right? So that'd be stored for everybody, but that won't be until the new year, all right? So that's exactly what it is, Commander. Yeah, spinning all levels. Yeah, same position locations, but the clocking system has to be in all levels of color, right? So it's amazing how you change this through what? Your thoughts. So you can change the clocking system going negative, but now what are you doing? You're changing the grounds of color all through your rainbow, your activation, your pixels. It's going. Then you got to get back on track and fix it. Checked it. Good. Ready to go. That's how it works. That's why you're connected to your crystals. How to activate your crystals is another thing, right? Come in that position, but you have to understand the grounds of its clocking system first. Major importance because you're standing on the grounds, right? So you're welcome there, Josh. Glad I could help you out. Don't overload, don't stumble. Had to close my phone to be able to message. Yeah, you can track your system, communicate your phone reception there early. Can I use the same grid drawing I sent over my heart reactive? I sent to the dot color rate alpha sending the whole. Yep, you can do that, Samantha, whatever you want to do. But everything I give you is given to you through test review and evaluations. You just don't know what I'm going to give you, right? But I'm telling you exactly what's going to be on the T4 system. Okay, so is that why I walk to go somewhere and it feels like someone is pushing me in the back to go fast? Yep. Vortex line center. Yeah, pushed into ground interference. Yeah, so your ground line center is off location to its hard position. That's what it is, Aaron. That's how we get to our grounds, making sure all chakras are balanced and spinning all at the same time. Same time, into one. They come into an atom. That's what you guys got to come into, right? You're trying to understand your positions, all levels of your clocking system, all through your chakras. And you go in here, you're saying this, you're saying that. No wonder you can't get your grounds. No wonder you're all confused. So the same clocking center has to be in a force direction of time going forward. So if your throat's going this way and your heart's going this way and your ground's going this way, what's happened? You got 3 dispositions, right? You turn it into a virus to a Trojan. Now you have to go back in position and how to calculate, modify all your track system to its clocking system. Get back in connection. of resetting to its position. Okay? So the clock's numbers have to be correct color to align with chakra system. Very good, Commander. See, she understands. You guys all understand this, but that's the most important thing, which is hard to understand because you have to understand what is the chakra system and why does it have color. Now you know. Now you know, right? Makes sense, right? So what happens if you go from positive to negative? Whatever you say, right? Let's say you say something bad to your community. You're saying something back to the grounds. Let's say you say something bad to your heart. You're saying something back to coloration. Clocking center. So it's going back. Every time you say negative, it changes the colorations to your chakra system. Sea levels to position line center. Your chakras are nothing but a compass. Has water levels, guys. It countermeasures everything to that position location. You have to truly understand how to use this through your divisions, right? So it's the coloration of time, the activation of time, space of time through its calculation, right? So all shapes are spinning into spheres. Yeah, but each chakra system is a different shape, second per second, 60 seconds per minute. So it changes its digital codes of colors. So it's very important that when you create all this, when you start remembering these things and when you start creating, you have to be cautious in what you're doing with your thoughts of travel, right? Because the coloration will change position of the trifactors and your trajectory will change everything through rotation of your clocking system, all through the physical line and its dimensional setting. Okay. All right. I know it's mind blowing, isn't it? Any questions or comments, you can, talk to among each other, email each other, really, really get to know each other. And that's what it is all through team, right? But that's what it is. And that's why you guys have a chakra system. The basic is to get the grounds of power and the atmosphere of you through the physical system first, right? A lot of people don't realize, oh, wow, I got a new watch. But what does it mean? What does it mean? What is the little hand? What is the big hand? What is you going around? What does it all mean? What does it all mean? Right? Well, that's to truly understand how you calculate everything through position. Don't think math, okay, as equation. Think math as a result. Now, there's a lot of things you take out of the equation, but you are the calculation inside. Okay? And that's all done through travel. Okay? The more you understand that, the more you can understand your geometries of your operations to your directions. Okay? That are given to you. So it's all coming together now, isn't it? You learn something new every day, and that's what it is. You're starting to remember how to use your clocking system through coloration and how it has to come into one force direction of time. So it's all about putting yourself in the positive system every single day, which is very hard to do. But as soon as you go off the negative system, what happens? It changes your grounds, power, and the atmospheres right away. Right away. It changes your physical system right away. Whether you don't understand that or not, it changes you right away. Now your dimensional setting will be off system. Clocking center is off location, put you back in the position locations. Your crown chakra is not connected, right? So it's telling you what you have to do. It's getting the communications, guys. Getting the communications, how to interline position to its connections, right? All through clocking. Balance with the physical, balance with the dimensional system, coming integration into one, two into one. Okay, and then one into whole. Okay, so all right, I think that's good. I had a great day today, eh? Fantastic. I know it's a little bit tricky, but you'll catch on very quick. Any questions or comments? I'm going to head over to TikTok. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. Adios.